The EFL will not change the rules just simply for Manchester City to play Marc Guéhi in the Carabao Cup finals. Pep Guardiola is simply upset about this, but you do know that's the rules. I understand that Man City has been going through trouble, woes, and problems of that nature, but like, what do you expect? What do you think that's going to happen that you sign a center back late in order for you to play in the cup final is not eligible? We know this. Everyone knows this. Manchester City know this. But yet Pep Guardiola is still trying to push this narrative that it's not fair. We're paying this player salary. We're doing all this. And to me, what I said, when I hear a manager complaining and whining about this, is because they know they cannot win without this player. They cannot do anything without this player. And the fact that Pep Guardiola is going on about this bullshit, it just told you what you need to know about the situation in Manchester City. Before we get down to it, I give you guys my thoughts and opinion about all of that. Let's take a look about what Pep Guardiola has to say about this whole situation.
Apparently, Marc cannot play the second leg that game because he didn't play the first. And Antoine, like right before the first, could play. But now it's the final. Why should and not play? You know? So why not? So he's a player, you know. We pay his salary, we hire him, it's our player, why should not play? So the rules to buy a players on the players, what depends on me, depends on FIFA, UEFA, or the Premier League said, okay, transfer window is open. Once you hire a player, have to play, no? In the competitions, logic is. I don't understand why he could not play today, but in the final, in two-man sound, of course we're going to try to ask to play because it's pure logic.
What do you think the answer will be?
No. To change the rule in something country, no way, but we will try.
Okay, you clearly know that the rules stated that Marc Guéhi cannot play no matter what. And a lot of people might be like, okay, why is that a rule? Why is that a thing? Why can it not be a cup tie kind of scenario like the FA Cup? Which by far that makes sense. You should be able to willfully do stuff like that. And it should be a lot more easier so that way like clubs and everybody knows that this alone you cannot do this anymore. I understand the Carabao Cup finals has a weird system of way of how players to be eligible or ineligible to play in the cup ties. I understand that. But one of the things that a lot of people might be on be like, why does that doesn't make sense? Well, here's a video that properly explains it, and then we're going to get into the nitty and gritty.
It's good morning to Charlie Austin. Does Pep have a point?
Listen, I think it's more frustration from Pep that he wants a player to play. He's at Man City, so they think, well, he should be able to be available for all the games. But I'm going to say no, because he's cup tied. Like, he can't play for one game and play in the final. Like I say, I think it just comes down to more frustration. I get the Semenyo one. He was in beforehand, but like you said to me off air beforehand, is the rules are actually clear and they're there, so he is unavailable. And Man City would have, you'd like to think they would have known that before signing him also.
Yeah, the rules are clear. There are certain deadlines. So you can play for two clubs in the Carabao Cup. It's not like in the FA Cup where if you play for one club, you're cup tied. In the Carabao Cup, you can play for a club. If you sign for another club before the summer transfer deadline, you can then play for the other club in the rest of the competition. But the second deadline is before the first leg of the semi-final, or transfer deadline, whichever comes earlier, or the first leg came earlier. So in fairness, Semenyo did sign and played, Guéhi didn't, and they are the rules. Do you like the rules, though? Would you be in favour of them changing?
Yeah, changing just to be cup tied.
As in going like it is in the FA Cup. If you're going to change it, you do it like the FA Cup.
Because that's it. You just, if you're changing it, then just change it to like the FA Cup. If you can't play for two teams in the competition and you're done. And regardless, that's also not just down to the top clubs in the FA Cup. If you're part of the non-league setup and you play in the qualifying rounds and then you do really well enough to get a move to a Football League club, you're cup tied. So that doesn't mean that way also.
I personally think that's a perfect idea, but like Pep Guardiola know this. Semenyo was right on time, so which makes sense for him to be playing. But for him to complain and not know that that's a problem, that makes me a little bit upset, because it's like you're trying to have a special privilege in your sense. In the sense of that nature, I understand. As a manager, you have to try no matter what to do what's best for your team and try to get any advantage. I know you're playing Arsenal. Defensively, Arsenal has been sound. They just played Chelsea, which is my team, and obviously we lost in the second leg 1-0, even though like Arsenal literally just parked the bus. Manchester United has been lucky enough to beat Arsenal, but that doesn't mean the sense, because for Man City, the reason why Pep Guardiola is pushing so hard on this problem or trying to get Guéhi to play is because they don't have defensive problem right now, and these are the injury currently right now and potential return dates for some of the players that are in Manchester injury list right now. So Guardiola, is injured. Calf, shin, heel injury, and expected potential return date is not till April 25th. April 25th. So that's crazy. That's a long time. Kovacic is ankle/foot injury and is now March 14. And then Johnstone, thigh injury, February 21st. Doku, calf, shin, and heel injury, February 21st also. And then Olivier, thigh injury, February 11th. So he'll be back shortly. Honestly, like in the next 6 days or so, he should be back. Bernardo Silva, a thigh injury on top of that also, and he should be back in the next 3 days or so, currently being assessed, so 25%. So he's light on the road of cuffs of being back, but the problem is most of these players are not back till like April or March or late February throughout for the season. And I see that and I understand why Pep Guardiola is pushing hard for this, but it doesn't make sense because you know the rules are the rules. And personally, I would think, yes, it should be just cup ties. Once you play for another club, even if you make a transfer, you're not eligible to play anymore. Keep it simple and plain. That way, clubs don't have to be bitching and moaning about, or manager bitching and moaning about whether or not they are not allowed to be able to play their player because at this certain time, this deadline, this transfer deadline, or whatever the case. It doesn't matter. You knew the rules. You know when players are eligible, you know when to sign players. Sorry, the deal couldn't get done fast enough for Marc Guéhi for you to get your players in time to be able to play in the cup final now against Arsenal. You're just gonna have to deal with that. And personally, I do feel for them, but that's the hand that's been dealt with you. And Pep Guardiola is such a fantastic manager that, like, I think you will find a way to go around that. But I just think he just thought he cannot beat Arsenal without this. But Arsenal are more set piece in anything. It's hard for them to play or do any score in open play as we know it so far. But it's here and there. We'll wait to see what happens. We're gonna wait and see how things are going. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this. Is Pep Guardiola right to be complaining about this? And should the EFL make an exemption out of it for Manchester City and allow Guéhi to play in the cup final against Arsenal? Please let me know in the comments. I'll see you guys later. Peace out.